Supers, how you doing? It's me, Brad. Today I'm just chilling in the house. For all you Louisiana guys, you know, drinking the community sweet tea. Of course, I got to drink the diet because I got to keep up my physique. But coming on here today to talk to you about an interesting topic of conversation. I get a lot of questions about team training plans. You know, established team training plans. All right, so I have a MILSIM team, right? What do I do to train my team to be more proficient at higher levels? It's a very interesting question. It's very in-depth, but it's very simple. And what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of go over that a little bit. Now, I don't have my high-speed operator's tactics studio like I usually have. I have my office today, but that's fine. We can easily accommodate the questions. So, when we're talking about team training and development, we have to think about two different factors. One, we need to think about the caliber of players we have and their level of experience and training. The second we need to think about is our goal that we're going to set. And there's three goals, three levels of goals that you need to set. Your short-term, your mid-term, and your long-term goals. Now, when we're talking about short-term goals, what we want to do is we want to set that 30-day goal. So for like us at FPAT, we say, okay, this month we're going to do team training on the first weekend for mount training, and then we're going to go ahead and do team training for woodland training. Actually, on Friday we're doing night operations training, and we're going to go ahead and work on our nighttime techniques. And that's a short-term goal. And what we're doing is we're trying to gain our combat effectiveness a little bit higher by that short-term goal. Other things we can put into our goals is like our recruiting efforts. Like if I say, hey, we're going to go ahead and recruit 3 members this month, that's putting in a short-term goal. That's that 30-day window. Now, when we talk about the midterm range, we're talking about the 60 to 90-day window, a little bit bigger. And what we're talking about is tasks rolled together. So, for instance, we talked about with our short-term goals this month, we were going to do some mount training. And let's just say we were doing room clearing. All right? Then we're going to do some night operations training. Let's say we're going to do some ambush night tactics. Well, what we do is we'd roll up like 3 different short-term training sessions into one midterm training session. So we do like 3 mount trainings. So we do room entry, we do ladder entry, and we do movement under fire in a mount environment. Like those 3 tasks to build up our mount task for that midterm goal. And then we do with the woodland task, we have the night training with the ambush training, we do daytime ambush, and we do react to contact. But what we're doing is we got larger sets of skill sets that we're actually building up to enhance our team's effectiveness. Now when we talk about the long-term goals, we're talking 6 months to a year. All right? What I like to do is I like to roll up all kinds of different goals in there. The training plans, the recruiting plans, the long-term research and development plans. Like a lot of big teams, they do the research and development phases on things. Like your high-speed rocket launchers, Airsoft. Disclaimer, of course. The Airsoft landmines, things that can be bought in a store and created by your team for a minimum price. So instead of going out there and buying those Claymore mines for $100 a piece, you can go out there and make your own Claymore mines for $20 a piece. Things like that. Let me give me another drink of tea. But your long-term goals are 3/4 of midterm goals put together. Now what you're trying to do by the end of the year, you're trying to cover as many tasks as possible in your training plan. So when we first establish a training plan, the thing we need to do is understand, here's the start point, this is our end point. Now what tasks do we have to accomplish to get to that end point? Some of the things we also need to think about is we need to think about what operations, games, or events are we going to? What types of fields, what types of terrain are we going to be playing on? What's the caliber of players that we're going to be playing against? What's some of the types of weapon systems that we're going to run into out on the field? Those are some things that you need to think about as well, and that all rolls into one. So when we sit down and make the training plan, the first thing we need to do, since it is Airsoft, we are in a MILSIM organization, we need to say to the team, what would you like to do? what is some things that you feel that you need to train on? That does two things. One, it piques the team interest in training. The second, it gets everyone involved in a group effort and a group dynamic. That's very important in the sport. That's one thing that you have to do. The other thing about training, you can't be serious all the time. One thing we always like to do is we do our training day, and we'll do about 3 hours of training during the training day. And then we'll make scenario games off the training that we've learned using the training that we actually went over, which does two things. One, it kind of validates your team training by putting it into a realistic scenario. And two, it shows the guys or the gals that it actually works, that it's something that you want. That's the most important things with the training plans. Now, I know a lot of you guys are asking, hey, where can I find the information on this training? Well, online, you got plenty of open source manuals, Army manuals and things like that. A lot of the Army manuals have some very good pictures in them. YouTube's a great source. If you can find some legitimate videos on there, they have some great shooting, moving, and communicating videos that you can easily watch and pick up on. When you're training people, there's a couple different ways people train. They have the visual cue where they actually learn by seeing, the verbal cue where they learn by speaking, and then the audio cue where they learn by hearing. So the best way to do training is to incorporate all three forms of learning into your training plan. So that's pretty much a training in a nutshell. In order to effectively create a training plan, you need to establish things with your team. You need to sit down with your team. You need to figure out what's best for you. And then you can go from there. So for the person who asked that question, it's a very good question. I hope that this has been informative. I hope this team training plan video has been something that you can kind of take down. But if you have any more questions, feel free to give me a ring. All right, well, I'm going to get back to drinking my tea, checking my email, and doing my thing. So thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Best of luck in your airsoft endeavors. See you later.